On our planet, there are so many animals that can change their color: chameleons, cuttlefish, squid. But an octopus that can also change its shape, that's another story. Have you ever heard of such an octopus? If not, then this video is for you. You'll be surprised to know how unique this creature is. So let's get started. The world of the deep sea is still largely unknown to us. We have only explored about 5% of it, and what secrets lie in the unexplored parts of the ocean, you can imagine. It would take thousands of years to find them all, and yet modern technologies allow us to see with our own eyes wonders that, until recently, were known only from hearsay. In September 2019, one of these underwater dwellers got on camera. A marine biologist was diving off the coast of Indonesia when he saw a strange animal that looked like an alien. At first, the scientist thought it was a jellyfish, but as soon as he approached it, the creature changed shape right before his eyes. The animal contracted and after a couple of seconds turned into something that resembled a cube. The marine biologist didn't believe his eyes. He had never seen anything like it before, but luckily he managed to film the incredible transformation. Of course, the footage of the dive instantly spread around the world. In just a few days, the video got several million views on the Discovery Channel, but not everyone believed in its authenticity. After all, how could an octopus change its shape? Could it really turn into a cube? It seemed unbelievable, and so the experts had to conduct an investigation. After watching the video, they came to the conclusion that what we're seeing is actually a perfectly ordinary blue-ringed octopus. It's just that this particular individual has a rare genetic mutation. Thanks to it, the octopus can change not only its color, but also its shape. And if you think about it, it makes sense. All octopuses have flexible bodies that consist of a head and a mantle, which is a modified arm. So it's quite possible that some individuals can change their shape by contracting certain muscles. But the blue-ringed octopus is a venomous creature. Its bite can be fatal to humans, so getting close to it is extremely dangerous. What is the point of risking your life if you can just admire this amazing animal from a distance? However, it's not that simple. The scientists conducted an experiment. They put a blue-ringed octopus in a tank filled with water at a depth of 3,000 meters, where sunlight doesn't penetrate. There was no air in the tank, just like in the ocean depths. Then they turned off the light and left the octopus alone. Scientists wanted to know if the lack of lighting would affect the color of the animal. It usually depends on the ambient lighting. And what happened next was a complete surprise for the researchers. The octopus began to glow. It emitted a bluish light that lasted several hours. No one had ever seen this before, at least not a blue-ringed octopus. It's known that many creatures living in the depths of the ocean are bioluminescent. These are bacteria, jellyfish, worms, crustaceans, fish, and even sharks. Bioluminescence allows them to camouflage themselves, attract prey, or scare off predators. But why did the octopus start glowing? Scientists don't have a clear answer to this question. Perhaps it was stressed out because it found itself in an unusual situation. Or maybe it's just used to glowing in the dark since it lives at a great depth. Whatever the reason, the octopus continued to emit light for several hours. But that wasn't the end of the surprises. When the scientists returned to the tank, they saw that the octopus had completely dissolved, literally turning into a pile of dust. It sounds incredible, but the fact is that the octopus belongs to a species whose representatives have a very unusual way of reproduction. When a female is ready to lay eggs, she finds a cave where no one can disturb her. Then she lays her eggs, after which she dies. Male blue-ringed octopus, in turn, can fertilize eggs laid by several females. But he also dies soon after. And here's the catch. Even if the male manages to fertilize the eggs, he won't see the baby octopuses. The eggs hatch only after 6 months. This means that the male simply won't live to see the results of his work. But nature has given the octopus a chance to at least partially compensate for this. Sometimes the eggs of a blue-ringed octopus turn into a clone of the father. And if that happens, the offspring is guaranteed to survive. The fact is that the eggs of cephalopods can develop without fertilization. They can also reproduce asexually, so the male doesn't have to look for a female and engage in risky mating. But why does the octopus turn into dust? It turns out that this is not the only way to reproduce. Moreover, it's much more common. Under favorable conditions, the male blue-ringed octopus can live up to 2 years. And during this time, he manages to fertilize hundreds of females. Their eggs are kept in clutches that develop at different rates. Therefore, the male has to wait until at least some of the offspring appear, but it might take months. There aren't many natural caves where an octopus can hide and lay its eggs. Most often, males have to settle for artificial shelters, such as coconut shells or glass jars. This significantly increases the risk of losing offspring. Predators, other octopuses, and even shrimps are constantly looking for an easy meal. So as soon as the clutch begins to develop, the male dissolves in seawater. His body breaks down and is gradually carried away by the current, and here's where the cloning comes into play. Some of the fertilized eggs develop into exact copies of the male. They grow up, mature, and go in search of food. Along the way, they fertilize other females and continue their kind. It's hard to say whether this is a conscious decision of nature or just an octopus feature, but the ability to clone offspring gives males a huge advantage. After all, they don't have to waste time searching for a female or protecting the eggs. They just dissolve in the water and hope for the best. However, scientists still don't understand why the octopus changed its shape in the tank. It could have been stress, but it could have been an instinct that kicked in. In the wild, an octopus can contract its body and squeeze through narrow crevices. It could be trying to do the same thing here, although there's no need to rush. Overall, octopuses are incredibly smart creatures. They're second only to humans in intelligence among all living things on the planet. Octopuses can open jars, explore their surroundings, and even recognize their owners. Also, octopuses have excellent memories. They can remember the location of their prey for months. In addition, they're able to plan their actions in advance. For example, a study was conducted in which one group of octopuses was given a box with a lid that could be opened with a lever. As soon as the animals figured out how to open the box, they started taking the prize out every day at the same time. In another experiment, octopuses learned to push a button that provided them with food. But the most interesting thing is that they did this only at night. During the day, they refused to eat, apparently so as not to attract the attention of predators. That's how smart they are. But don't forget that octopuses are still wild animals. So even the smartest octopus can surprise you. For example, scientists once bred an octopus that had 8 arms instead of 4. Well, maybe not bred. This is a natural mutation. But the fact remains that the animal turned out to be quite viable. It lived for several years, reached sexual maturity, and even gave birth to offspring. True, the baby was no different from ordinary octopuses. There were no 8-armed ones. If this goes on, we'll soon see an octopus with tentacles like a spider or a lion's mane. But the main thing is that it will still be able to change its shape. That would be really cool. Now, watch what happens to a chameleon when it's put in an MRI machine. You've never seen anything like it. Or check out this video instead. It's also super interesting.